In the land of Brittany, there was a very noble knight, Averagus, who was on a quest to find love and serve his future lady well. He soon found a lady, Dorigen, who was beautiful in every way, and he promised her that he will never ruin her happiness with his authority. She also made a promise to him that she will always remain faithful, since he is giving her the freedom that most women do not receive. The knight took his lady back to his homeland, where they got married and stayed in his castle. They spent 1 year together in that castle before Averagus was called to his duties of a knight, where he will have to spend 2 years in Britain. Dora was very heartbroken over Averagus' absence, that she barely slept, ate, and drank less than she normally did. Her friends were aware of the situation she was going through and told her that she is going to kill herself for nothing, even though it will relieve Dorigen of her pain due to Averagus' absence. Averagus soon began to send Dorigen letters, letting her know that he was doing well and will return home soon. After receiving these letters, it eased her heart of pain. Her friends continued to beg her for her to adventure out of the castle with them, when finally Dorigen gave in as she realized it would be good for her to get out and get her mind off of Averagus. One sunny morning on the 6th of May, Dorigen and her friends went to a garden that was full of flowers to enjoy a picnic. That night after dinner, they all began to dance and sing while Dorigen sat off and wept over Averagus, hoping that her husband will walk out from the crowd to ask her to dance. At the dance, there was a young, handsome, and wealthy squire who went by the name of Aurelius. Aurelius sang and danced better than any other man at the dance. He had known of Dorigen and has loved her for 2 years, but Dorigen was unaware of that, as he feared bringing it up to her. Aurelius gets the courage to tell Dorigen of his love for her, and that he is aware of Dorigen and Averagus' marriage, and begs Dorigen not to chase him away. Surprised by what Aurelius said, Dorigen admits that she must remain a faithful wife to Averagus, though she makes a promise with Aurelius that if he is able to clear the stones on the coast of Brittany, that she will love him more than any other man on earth. Aurelius was sent off where he became sick for 2 years and only had the help of his brother. His brother was a very intelligent man, and he felt for Aurelius. Aurelius' brother then remembered of a student that he studied with whenever he was in school, who had interpreted the codes of magic that could help his brother obtain love. Aurelius' brother and Aurelius headed to Orleans in France, where they will meet with the student magician. They enjoyed a meal with the magician before the bargaining began, where Aurelius settled on promising to pay 1,000 pounds if the magician is able to clear the coast of Brittany. All of them headed for the coast of Brittany the following morning, where the magician worked his magic for a week trying to clear the stones of the coast of Brittany. Finally, the coast was cleared. Aurelius headed to find his love, Dorigen, as he had fulfilled her promise. Astonished by such an act, she had no words to say but to leave and go home, where she wept 2 days. Dorigen regretted the promise she had made to Aurelius, because she realized how she could do such a thing to Averagus while he was gone. On the 3rd day of her weeping, Averagus finally returned home. Dorigen told Averagus of her promise to Aurelius. Averagus, who continued to smile, told Dorigen that he would rather be stabbed than to see Dorigen fail in keeping her promise. He then began to weep and ordered for the maid and squire to take Dorigen to Aurelius. Dorigen and Aurelius met in town, where Dorigen presented herself to Aurelius to keep her promise. Aurelius, however, learned of Averagus' nobility, refused to take Dorigen as his love, now as he will rather suffer than come in between the love of her and Averagus. Dorigen thanked Aurelius for allowing her to return home, where Dorigen and Averagus continue their life together in happiness. Aurelius, on the other hand, still needed to pay the magician for. Aurelius was only able to gather 500 pounds to give the magician, but begged the magician more time to pay the rest he owed. The magician learned that Aurelius decided to let Dorigen go of her promise, since her husband was a noble knight. Hearing about this, the magician told Aurelius that he will forget about him having to pay the 1,000 pounds. And so the magician got back on his horse and rode away. The end! freely gave his promise as a knight that he will never darken her delight by exercising his authority. As we have seen in the other works of literature this semester, women do not get to have a say in anything because of the amount of authority that their husbands possess. However, this quote in the Franklin's Tale shows that Arviragus is willing to give up his authority in order to make his wife Dorigen live a life full of happiness.